No, we most exhibitors, not all of them, but a lot of them come back every year, and
Marilyn's very busy here writing thank you notes because Hi, I'm Jessica Christensen, and I'm here live at the Newton County Pumpkin Vine Fair. And I'm here with Marcy Hall, Secretary-Treasurer of the Newton County Fair Board. And I just would like to ask you a real quick question here, Marcy. What exactly are your duties here at the fair?
Well, to make sure all the events are organized and entry sheets are prepared, money is ready for the ticket takers, and a little bit of everything.
Well, you're doing a very good job because the fair seems to be well run this year, Marcy. And back here we have Marilyn Ekstrom. Marilyn's very busy here writing thank you notes because, of course, thank you is always a very important part of duties here at the fair. So, Marilyn, how has your day been?
It's wonderful. It's always wonderful when we have a fair.
I agree. Well done. Let's take them back here to the back. We'll see if there's anybody back here. Oh! Back here we have Mr. Don Olson and Mrs. Karen Moulter, who seem to be working very hard doing something. And what are you doing, Mrs. Moulter?
Trying to figure out how many diamonds we have left to give away.
Ooh.
So I got to figure out how many we've given away already, so we know how many certificates we can hand out.
You see these lovely diamond dig certificates from the Shane Company. I was fortunate enough to get to dig for a diamond the other night, and so hopefully I have a diamond in my possession now.
Oh, I hope so.
I hope so. Mr. Olson, what are you doing? Yes, I was very excited. What are you doing?
just trying to catch up on some of my work.
Some of your work. And what are your duties here at the Newton County Pumpkin Vine Fair?
Superintendent of the exhibit building.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what does that...
It's the building across the street.
And what do you have to do exactly?
Oh, I've got to find all his exhibitors.
Well...
Oh, no, I don't
He
find...
opens the door, closes the door at 10.
And then I listen to Karen's story. No, most exhibitors, not all of them, but a lot of them come back every year. And this year we have several new ones, though. So everybody needs to go through there.
I myself have been through there. We'll have to take a walk through the commercial building, Don.
Be sure
Definitely.
you go through the planning commission. No,
Where's that
they're
at?
there also.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll be sure to do that.
Remax, they've got a lot of pictures of things being done in this county.
In Remax?
Remax and also the planning
Oh,
commission.
okay. Okay. Well, we'll be sure to look at those.
Hey, nice
Okay.
to over there too in the accident.
Okay. Okay, you're looking at a display that was set up in commemoration of the 75th anniversary of the Newton County Pumpkin Vine Fair. We have a little bit of a timeline here. Starts with the 20s and the 30s, goes up to the 40s and the 50s, and in the background you might see some pictures and posters and some trophies over here that I think are for this year's fair. But it's just a pretty little display that we have in honor of the 75th anniversary of the Pumpkin Vine Fair. So... Okay, this is a picture that we're seeing here of the very first princess, Miss Jessica Lincoln, Laura Brinkman. They were during the same fair week that I was, and so that's kind of interesting to me. I think that's about all we want here. We're here in the commercial building at the Remax Results Realty booth, and this is Mrs. Marge King, who seems to be doing something. What exactly are you doing, Mrs. Marge King? Oh, well, yes, I would. Thank you very much, Mrs. King. Wow, Don, we got free popcorn.
And are you Jessica?
Yes.
Fair Queen from last year?
No, 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago, yes.
Time flies so
When you're having
quickly.
fun, yeah. When you're having fun. Nope, Laura is our beautiful 1995 Miss Newton County. Yes, quite exciting.
There you are.
Complimentary popcorn from Remax Realty.
How about a balloon?
A balloon? I don't know. You want a balloon? That might get a little bit. Okay.
So why you guys stop by?
Okay, thanks, Marge. Okay, here we have the Farm Bureau Insurance. What kind of neat free stuff do you have here?
Well, we sign up here for $25 worth of meat.
Okay. Well, I'm going to sign up here.
Yeah, sign up. And then we have a sign up for that truck. We give away a truck each night.
A truck, like a little bitty one?
They're on the shelf. That's in
Oh, the Pumpkin Vine
Pumpkin
Fair.
Vine Fair truck. We give one of them away each night.
Okay.
What's your name?
Jessica Christensen.
Where's
What? Morocco.
Morocco?
Yes.
Yeah, but you're working for who?
Oh, I'm not working for anybody. This is just for fun. Okay, we're here with Mr. Reen Bontrager, the owner and operator of Reinforcements Design, which is based in Rensselaer. How's your day been, Mr. Bontrager?
Been good. Been busy as usual.
Busy
always,
as usual.
always trying to get things done.
So what kind of things do you have to offer here for us in the commercial building at the Pumpkin Vine Fair?
Well, what I do on hand is airbrushing, which is a lot of what I have on the backdrop here. Freehand artwork. People can bring a picture of their own design. Also, what I'm promoting as well here for my business is screen printing, which are many of the items I have on the table, which I do for clubs and organizations and things throughout the year. And then I also do sign painting and graphics and all that kind of thing as well.
Beautiful job you do too. And you were also at one time a basketball coach, I think. Reen was my 6th and 8th grade basketball coach.
That was
So.
in the earlier days.
Earlier days.
Needed a little extra income.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Mr. Bontrager. And I'm here live at the commercial building at the Pumpkin Vine Fair, and I'm talking to Steve Oland, who is a taxidermist operating in Kentland. Steve, I think it's kind of an odd thing to bring stuffed animals to the fair. Why exactly are you promoting your business this way?
I basically bring it to the fair because a lot of these animals that are hunted and brought to me to stuff are people that are local in the community. I bring them to the fair basically so they can show their buddies the different types of animals that they have hunted. People don't necessarily stay around here to hunt. They go all over the United States and sometimes into Canada to hunt. Sometimes their mom or dad or wife don't want them bringing all their buddies in the house to see their animals, so this is basically my chance to show my work and their chance to show their buddies what they have hunted.
You have a pretty nice display in here. How many years have you been coming to the fair?
This is my 3rd year that I've been at the Newton County Fair.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Oland. I'm here at the Newton County Coalition Against Drugs booth in the commercial building, and there's quite a few neat little pamphlets and stuff, and who am I here with?
My name's Chuck Pennington.
And Chuck, what exactly have you been doing today here in the commercial building?
Well, we're just distributing pamphlets and flyers to the people that are interested. A lot of anti-drug literature, seatbelt literature. That's basically what we do here.
So I know I was a member of the REACH organization at North Newton. How exactly do you guys work with those kinds of organizations that promote it, like through the high schools, or do you, I know through DARE and stuff like that, but do you do a lot?
The actual road deputies handle the DARE program. They're the ones that get out there and speak to the 7 different elementary schools here in the county. During the fair time here, we just basically hand out literature and answer questions as people have them.
Okay. Well, I'd like to know, can I have one of these great stickers? Because I've seen everyone carrying them around, and I'd like to know if I can... Well, thank you very much. I have this Getting Busted Bites, and I do agree with this, and so I'd like to... We're in the office of the 4-H building, and I'm here with Julia East, one of our lovely secretaries who helps out in the extension office. Julia, what have you been doing today?
Well, today I went to the beef show and watched my granddaughters perform, or exhibit, I should say. And then now I am working in the office, and we're trying to get the livestock auction program out for tomorrow.
Well, it sounds like you've had quite a busy day. We also have Mr. Mike Moulter, our sheep superintendent. Wow, we got really lucky. We have Karen on this tape also. What are you doing, Mike?
I am trying to count and make sure my auction money is correct, so when I give it to Julia, she won't come back and get me.
Well, that would probably be smart. I'd be scared of Julia, too. And And we also have one of our 4-H junior leaders back here, Miss Mindy Smith, who is also the president of our local junior leader club. Mindy, what are you doing?
I am filling in my time in the 4-H building. We're supposed to work a 2-hour shift in order to help out our 4-H building and to show people around as hostesses and hosts of the building. And presently I'm filing stuff for Julia because she just likes putting me to work.
Well, that's good of you, Julia. I'm sure Mindy appreciates it. Here we are looking at the 10-year 4-H member display for 1995, and we have some pretty neat people that had their 10th year. I believe we had 14 members this year. Correct, Don? Isn't that true? 14 10-year 4-H members here in Newton County, which is quite a large number. So I think we'll start here at the end with Jasmine Stentz. Do you want me to say a little about what projects they've been in, Don? Oh, yeah? Okay. Jasmine has been in swine, clothing, fashion review, and photography and crafts. Jasmine's been pretty active. You see her a lot here at the fair with her pigs and stuff. Next up, we have myself, Jessica Christensen. I've been pretty active in poultry and waterfowl, and I've done a lot of needlecraft. I used to show pigs, and I decided to try photography this year, and I've also been really involved in junior leaders. Jessica Christensen. Next we have Chad Antcliffe. Chad has been involved in beef and swine. You see him a lot at the fair this year and in past years. Really sad it's his 10th year. And next we have Mr. Don Hartman Jr., who has really wiped up here at the fair this year. Last night, Don was the recipient of 3 awards: the Farm Bureau 10-Year Award, Outstanding 4-H Boy, and also the I Dare You Award. So Don has been involved in sheep, swine, photography, shooting sports, bicycle, forestry, and garden. Phew! Don, busy, busy. Next we have Chad Wilson. Chad smiling nicely there in his South Newton letter jacket. He has been in aerospace, modelcraft, shooting sports, photography, food press, sewing, and computer. I think Chad's been mainly involved in the aerospace project. His father is the leader of that. Next we have Joyce Poland. Joyce has really been involved in pigs. What else does it say? Oh, pigs has been her main project. She took mini goats with me. We were the 2 of 3 mini 4-H goat girls our very first year. Next is formerly Tammy Wallstra. Now it's Tamatha Wallstra Danuski. Tammy has really been involved in cake decorating. I believe she went to the Wilton Cake Decorating School. That's been her main thing, but she's also shown foods, clothing, crafts, and photography. Next we have Amy Seidentop. Amy's been in foods, horseless horse, photography, aquatic science, and vet science. Amy's a green billing kind of girl. Kim Frishy. Woohoo! Kim's mother is our wonderful extension educator, Sue Frishy, and her father is also Fair Board President John Frishy. Kim's been really busy her past 10 years. She's been in sheep, foods, vet science, consumer grains, photography, junior leaders, food preservation, and crafts. She's also went to a lot of conferences and workshops, things like that. Next we have Miss Collie Washburn. Collie has been really involved in beef and swine. And also she has shown foods for 10 years. And I've seen Collie a lot because Collie's also been here a lot at the fair with her animals. Next we have Kelly Smith. Kelly has been very involved with her sheep. She's a 10-year sheep member. She's also been in foods, photography, gardening, horseless horse, vet science, beef, and that's it for Kelly. But Kelly's been really involved with her sheep, and she's done a really fine job here at the Newton County Fair. Next we have Sean Knockle. Sean is a 10-year beef member. He's been an electric 5 foods 4 years, woodworking 4 years, and modelcraft 3 years. So you also see a lot of him here at the fair because he was an animal exhibitor. Around here, I think we have a little bit of displays for the 75th anniversary. We have a nice little jacket. I don't know from what year it is. We also have some nice little picture displays that I myself helped put together. So I think this green building is looking pretty nice for the 75th anniversary. We're going to take a look here at our bulletin board for the 75th anniversary of the fair, and this was developed by the Colbreth family, and I think it's a really neat display because the leaves on the pumpkin vines have all the different kinds of projects that we offer here in Newton County. And underneath you also see the Grand Champion display, we may want to move in on that. I think Sue's done a really good job here with the Grand Champions. The names are really visible this year. And I think it's a really pretty display, and it shows a lot about what Newton County has to offer.
Ah, there's one.
Pick it out with your fingers.
Oh, sure, now I lost it. It's a, I got the...
There's one.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah, it is kind of... Yeah, it's right there on top, too. Hang on to that in case I don't get one here.
Now I lost it.
You can wait.
Let me see.
See? Sam?
1, 2.
Okay, what do you do?
Okay, you have to pick out one. You just get one.
Yeah, just get one. Hang on. I'll go see.
We, as members of the committee this evening, are excited to be here. We're looking forward to a night of remembrance, to recognizing some people that have helped make this fair a success, and to have some fun doing it. The rich heritage of the Newton County Fair is something to be proud of. We hope to give it due respect this evening, and we hope you'll join in the fun that we plan to have. With that, I would like to ask the Horse and Pony Club to lead us with the grand entry of the flag. Good, please rise. Okay, let's give another round of applause to the Horse and Pony Club. The first thing I'd like to do this evening, we have several special guests to introduce as we go along, but we would like to break that up through the evening, so we'll be having introductions as we go along. First, I'm John Frishy, president of the Newton County Fair, so we'll get that one out of the way first. The next person that I would like to introduce is, I guess, a person who has worked real hard on this program this evening. She has also done a great deal of work working on the various research that you've seen, and if you've had a chance to go to our office, you've noticed a copy of the Newton County Pumpkin Vine Gazette. She is the editor of the Gazette. She worked with the Newton County Historical Society in putting much of the material together you find in our office display. So at this time, I'd like to recognize Janet Miller. Janet, please stand. Every time I tried to call Janet, she was at the library looking up information, microfiche readers, pictures, but she's done an outstanding job. Another person that needs to be recognized this evening would be Karen Moulter. She was the assistant editor of the Gazette. She's worked also very hard on the program this evening, so I'd like to have Karen please stand. think the next person on the committee, I'm not sure I can find right now, Rich Miller, is he standing around back? Can you see Rich? Rich was another member of the committee that worked on the research, lined up the parade, and worked on several things with us. Really a dedicated worker at the fair, and some extra effort on tonight's program and in the area of fair books and past history of the fair, Rich Miller. With that, I'd like to get started with the program, and we'll have some more introductions as we go along. But seated on my right is an individual who many of you may know. Some of you met this afternoon at our threshing demonstration. Several of you may have become acquainted with him through his work with the Purdue Agricultural Alumni Association. He served as its director, I believe, from the inception almost. And he worked with the fish fries and had fun roasting all the governors and making friends, political friends, I suppose, right, Maury? And now he has turned his attention to items at the state fair, and many of you have been there to the exhibit, the Pioneer exhibit, Pioneer Farm and Home exhibit. It has several names, but with the antiques, the buildings and all the crafts and the historical information that's available. Well, Maury is the manager of that, and his new responsibility is he is chairman of the Center for Agricultural Science and Heritage, and that is going to provide a new, I guess, level of entertainment and education at the State Fair. Is working very hard on that, and he is also a man who is at ease in Newton County, and will share some humor with you this evening. Our friend Maury Williamson.
I like your tie, John. You see it? Can you see it from there? Nice. Pumpkins all over. Rich Miller's got the only worst tie here. Where are you, Rich? There you are. Is that awful? Who'd you borrow that from? Yeah. Is that brand new? I never saw you in a tie before. It's my pleasure to be here. This is kind of my kind of fair. Oh, I'm at the State Fair a good share of the year, and it's a marvelous exposition. And Alan Washburn is our announcer, and I get tired of that humdrum voice. Where are you, Alan? I know you're here someplace. We get hundreds of thousands and tons of people and do a lot of good for agriculture, I suppose, in the way of education, but it's kind of fun to come to the Pumpkin Vine Fair. This is the first time I've been to the fair. I've been to the ground several times with our Purdue educational meetings that we had here, Rich. But I've always kind of wanted to come where the old racetrack and that beautiful home and family arts building that should be in a movie. And the people out here are just kind of genuine. I have a special, a soft spot in my heart for fairs. I met my wife at the Wayne County Fair. Kind of surprised me because I thought she was 100 miles away at the time. Laugh quicker when we get out of here. It's 6 by the rain. Yeah, seriously, she's around here someplace, or maybe she may have left already, I don't know. But I met my wife at the Wayne County Fair in 1946. There she stood, right by the rear end of a Holstein calf, and I was polishing the horns on my brother's calf next to it, and that was the start of a wonderful relationship, a happy marriage of 8 years. Not too bad out of 45, I would say. You know, I think back about the Wayne County Fair, it doesn't quite have the rural ambiance that this Pumpkin Vine Fair, even that name, what a beautiful name, and a beautiful setting. And that old John Deere over there, I never liked John Deere as much, but you can recognize one, I'm offhand. And look out across the beautiful drought-stricken corn, intermixed with wet spots that didn't come up. I'm going to lose more money than usual on my farm this year, I'm afraid. My tax accountant last year said you did good farming, you lost less money. That's about as good as my farming gets. But I remember when I'll just take a few minutes here, because I want to tell you this is a true story, and I think 4-H and fairs and competition are a wonderful way to grow up without anything really catastrophic happening to you. I was the oldest of my generation of my dad and his two brothers. I was the oldest child, and my granddad was a large farmer. Our ancestors here, Point County, Illinois, but we moved to eastern Indiana. They did many, many years ago. My granddad had accumulated so much land that there was nobody left to bury him. The grandkids had to carry him to the grave. And my son's on the farm now, and he's kind of the same way. If that land lays next to him, he wants it. Well, it's a wonderful experience, but I was the one that was to carry the Williamson flag for another generation. I can remember my dad saying, as we said that a little heart-to-heart, "Now, do you want to show an Angus? They're new, you know." Or maybe there's a lot of good shorthorns around here. Him and Mom had visions of me winning the champion steer at the county fair and maybe going on to the state fair, and if we could cheat good enough, winning that too. They were just dreaming. It was the midst of the Depression. They were just dreaming. They didn't have any money to buy an Angus or a Shorthorn or a Hereford steer. Took garden instead. I never could figure out why, but in all of that 320-acre farm that I was raised on, my folks picked the poorest patch of ground of all for the garden. Well, you couldn't get a pick in it, except there's one place there about that big a square where we buried the old collie dog, and it was kind of aerated and a little softer. That was 1936. That was the year of the drought. You notice the record temperatures you see? A lot of them are 1936. The peas burnt up, and the lettuce wilted. The potatoes about the size the peas should have been. But my mom, determined as she was, the firstborn, made a little box out of lined with tin foil and went out and we picked every vegetable in the garden, and it filled the box about half full. Went to the grocery store and bought a bunch of stuff, and my 4-H project was complete. But I learned a lot about life at that time, though, because my 4-H leader picked me up. I don't know why I can remember this, and I don't remember what I got to do tomorrow, but I was sitting in the middle of the back seat of his car as we traveled off to Centerville, 9 miles away. Never been there by myself before, holding my precious vegetables on my lap. And he turned to me about halfway there, almost arrogantly, and said, "You got your record book?" Record book? What do you need a record book for onions for? Next year took lambs. 3, we were still 4. 3 ewe, kind of half-bred Shropshire ewe lambs. But life was fast slipping away, and it was filled with disappointment and defeat. I was 11 or 12. We worked for 3 weeks on those lambs, brushing them and carding them and blocking them and washing them and doing it all over again, and finished about 8 o'clock at night, the night before we were going to the fair. We were going to win this year because we worked hard at it. Dad had even made a new trailer out of the front running gear of a Model T Ford, and had the racks hadn't even had time to paint them. Put a hitch on the 32 Chevrolet. We were ready for business. Big time livestock people. Got done about dark, and well, we sure didn't want to turn them out there in the hog lot where all the cockleburs were, because you know what happens to cockleburs to wool. I believe Dad said we'll put them there in the double corn crib where we keep the old Farmall F20 tractor. Now, those of you who know anything about an old Farmall F20 tractor know that the crankcase is just about back high on a sheet. Got up early the next morning, went out there and backed the trailer up with the old new trailer on the old car, and backed her up to the door, pushed open the doors, and laws of me, you can't believe the sight that met her eyes. They tried to get me to show in the Holstein class, but I absolutely refused. There goes life, another year lost. Well, John, the only thing to do now, we couldn't win that way. I guess we just have to do like the others do in 4-H. Buy it. Buy it. Went up to Gus Wiles and bought us a Jersey calf. Paid $75 for her and named her Essie after his wife. Pretty nice calf. Well, I didn't want to fail again, so we got the old calf up about 2 weeks ahead of time. The trainer Lee wanted plenty of time. Jerseys are kind of feisty. I can remember those, as we stood there, still kind of in the Depression, poor. discussion of what kind of a hauler we ought to have. Well, my mom said, one thing for sure is we're not going to have one of those fancy leather haulers with that big brassy chain on them like them show-offs the Millers had. What she really meant was we didn't have enough money to buy one of those fancy leather haulers with a brass chain. Dad said, you know, come to think of it, we had an old cow in this very stall right here where this calf is, died about a year ago with a milk fever. Got down, couldn't get her up, just plain died. I bet that hauler's still under there. It was. Real scientific procedure, dug it out, scraped the dry manure. There was old hens' eggs that hatched, you know, and fluffy straw and some cat manure here and there, and cleaned all that off and then threw it in the horse tank for about a week. Had to hurry. Then got it out and scrubbed it, got it with a stiff brush and air dried it. Put about a half a dozen coats of neat's foot oil on it, didn't look bad. All the rings were rusted, it didn't quite fit, it looked more like bull blinders. But it worked. Dad even made a special lead strap with a snap. But it didn't have one of those brassy chains like them show-offs the Millers use. And Jersey calf was a little hard to control. But I've been training her for 2 weeks. I don't know why she wouldn't be all right. Did you ever get so embarrassed you just feel it kind of creep up over you like wool underwear? Did you ever get feelings like that? That's the way I felt on show day at the fair. Had a tent. We didn't have fancy buildings like this. Had a tent. I can remember that feeling of embarrassment. And seeing the crowd going up and down as me and that calf went in the north end, went out the south end, and she brought me back in and wrapped me around the center pole. Well, but I remember those things. I remember I was the only kid that ever went to the National 4-H Club Congress that never won a blue ribbon. I thought green was just what you're supposed to get. You know? Well, we determined our kids weren't going to be that way. And down here, north of where the Morris Prime used to live, where we live, we bought 5 acres out in the country, down in the middle of the city. We built the fanciest barren barn in Tippecanoe County. Drywall ceiling, sealed and painted, built in the fluorescent light, electric, thermostatically controlled electric heat, electrically operated overhead door. It was the garage on the end of our new house. And we had bear stalls in there for 3 Berkshire sows. My wife didn't entertain a whole lot in March and October. Oh, admittedly, it was kind of a musty smell. I kind of liked it though. You could lay there in bed and the old sow would be nursing, kind of lull you to sleep, you know. Fargo sows have trouble having pigs. You people understand all this. You're city folks, don't you? I mean, Sheldon, Illinois sounds pretty big to me. But the old sow had trouble having pigs, so you just get up. You didn't have to put on your boots and your insulated cover. I'll just put your bathrobe on. It really confounded the people on Saturday afternoon when we had the manure spreader backed up to the house. But our 2 kids had a wonderful experience, and horses and ponies and chickens and dairy cattle, and they had hogs, and won a lot of purple ribbons, and they cost me hundreds. But it was all worth it. It was all because of a fair. Some people say, I hear them educated sorts down in Purdue that have never stepped in cow manure. Not typically, but I've even fallen down and rolled in it, haven't you, John? That say, what value is fair? I mean, you can't judge the quality of a pork loin by seeing a hog running 40 miles an hour through a ring. I'll agree to that. And I agree that there's probably genetic splicing and all that big things that can improve pork chops and milk production and all that. And maybe we wouldn't have to have these fairs and these racetracks and those beautiful buildings and kids and fun and all that. But this is Americana. And it's my pleasure when John asked me if I would come here. I'm busy at the state fair and busy at the barn, but I told June this afternoon, that's my wife, June, I told her it's wonderful to just get away from those things and be here. And that's where natural America really is, at a county fair. And I congratulate you on 75 years of splendid success. And I walked around June and I this afternoon, and I judged the antique tractors, and we talked to a lot of people. It wasn't hard to take long to see that there's a powerful leadership in this county to make this fair so unique and so successful. So now what we're going to do for the next 3 or 4 hours, it'll seem like it, but it's not. Now, we're going to take it by decades. And we've got some nice things that these people have prepared, some nice things. The 1920s, a time I was born in the 20s, it seems like yesterday, when eggs used to be kind of high priced, were 68 cents a dozen. Milk was 17 cents a quart, and not near as good as milk. You remember those glass quart jars we used to get milk in? Did you ever take one and look at the bottom? At the dregs and that little black specks and little straw-looking things, a few things moving around down in there. You never drank that bottom quarter of an inch. Or did you ever wonder what those flies' wings were doing in the whipped cream? Well, they just flew in there. Well, anyway, it's wonderful today to eat the food we have, but at Round Steak, I never had steak from anything but a Holstein cow till I was 19 years old. Mom just fried it. It tastes more like souls, you know, but if you want to get over worms killed. 42 cents a pound. Life expectancy, this hurts my feelings, it makes me feel lucky. For males, 53.6 years, and females, 54.6. So nagging must be good for your health, the only thing I can do. The average salary, what do you think? I guess it's an individual, $1,236. Wasn't too bad, I guess, because some of them didn't have it at all. I'm going to ask you, now we're going to have audience participation here. And I want to ask anybody who attended this fair in the 1920s, stand up. John, you help me look. Yeah, there's one. 1, 2, 3. Well, there we go. 4, 5, 11. Obviously, you were only children, right? Yeah, okay. We're going to have the Natural High is going to kind of lead the mood setting here through the evening from Sheldon, Illinois, a marvelous singing group. I've never heard them, but they look nice. Take me back to the good old days, right? Okay?
Take me back, take me back, take me back to those good old days. Before jazz, Clappers and Clairvaux were all the rage. Long before the radio and rocking motion picture shows. Take me back, take me back, take me back to those good old days. Alexander's ragtime band. Come on here, it's the best band in the land. Like a play musical like we never heard before. So that's wanna go to war. That's just the bestest family in my honey land. Come on, let me take you by the hand. To the band, the leader of the band. And if you care to hear us Swanee River play, in ragtime, come here. Alexander's ragtime band. By the light of the silvery moon, I want to spoon to my honey our croon loves to honeymoon. Keep a shining in June. Your silvery wings will bring warm dreams. We'll be cuddling soon by the silvery moon. By the light of the silvery moon, I want to spoon to my honey on croon loves to honeymoon.
said all those things about Shelburne, Illinois. That was marvelous, and we're going to hear a lot more from them. We've got a few mechanical items of each decade that will bring back memories, I think, if they get here. Had a lot of patience in those days. Anybody here ever owned a Fordson tractor? Do I see a hand back there? 750,000 of those made, and they broke the arm of everybody who owned one. And this dude here, John Deere D in 1928, was over there in the show today, owned by Rich and Scott Young, driven by Rich, from just along across the line in Donovan, Illinois. That tractor cost in 1928 $950 and is worth, watch it, then a railroad backwards on you there. It's worth a lot more than that today. Dan Blaney, a lawyer, so watch, you don't know what direction it's going to go, and a bicycle built for two. You ever ride one of those? Now, in each period now, we're going to introduce to you a Fair Board representative who has something important to say about that particular era. And the first is a lady who's told me 4 times today she's been married for 35 years to Rich, and it sounds like a sentence or something, but pleasure to present to you Janet Miller in the beginning. Janet.
Well, thanks, Maury. At least you didn't say I was born in the 20s. Thanks. In the beginning, the 1920s, several fairs were held in our county prior to the current fair being established. We had fairs in Morocco and Kentland in the 1880s. There were at least 5 fairs of the Patron and Farmers Agricultural Association, which was held at their grounds near Harriman's Tile Factory in Washington Township. Now, this location was just east of the north entrance of the current fairgrounds. The Pumpkin Vine Fair of today was first held in the streets of Brook in October 1920. It started by interested persons of the County Farm Bureau. It was listed then as a stock show. After the second year, at Brook, the exhibitors decided that they needed a larger place to have the fair so that admission could be charged and premium money could then be awarded and it would be a real fair. A committee of 7 set out to find this new location. 2 places in the county were offered, the town of Lake Village and the site of the Newton County Home. The fair has continued on the site of the Newton County Home for 73 years. The 1922 fair was a 4-day event, September the 26th to the 29th, with single admission price 35 cents. Your auto, buggy, or carriage cost 10 cents. Season tickets were $1.50. There were no buildings, but the grounds were described as 40 acres of tents. The racetrack that surrounds us now had been built prior to the fair time and race events were held. Tuesday was livestock entry day with Wednesday and Thursday as awarding days. Friday was school day and students of the county romped over the grounds. They paraded in from the entrance carrying banners of their school and led by the Mount Ayr School Band. Following the parade, the children in unison recited the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag and sang America. It would have required a standing army to have held them in bounds longer, and ranks were broken and the children stormed the merry-go-round, the Ferris wheel, and the other concessions. At the afternoon program, Governor McCrae, who is from Kentland, expressed his pleasure on being able to get back among the home folks. He spoke a word on what the state was attempting to accomplish along education lines. He then introduced Mr. Burris, the state superintendent, who complimented the fair management highly on the attention that they had paid the schools. School Day became a yearly event with a parade and each school performed at the program in front of the grandstand. Every kid loves School Day. Getting to go to the fair instead of school, great. School Day was a special part of the fair until the 1950s. The grandstand was built in 1923 and the floral hall in 1925. After the organization of the Newton County Fair Board, their first officers were Rollin Aid, President, J.A. Wagamuth, Vice President, and Clyde Harriman, Secretary. The three directors were Frank Billings, Morocco, Howard Myers Brook, and S.E. Mulder Goodwin. In the late 1920s, A.M. Shue became secretary and served for many years. Our fair president, John Frischie, will now introduce our special guest for the evening.
Thank you, Janet. With us this evening are some representatives from the various families, I guess who were, their ancestors were the originators of this fair, and it is only fitting this evening that we recognize those individuals. They're seated to your left, at the side of the stage. Representing the first president of the Newton County Fair, Mr. Roland Aid was the president. His son is here this evening, John Aid from Brooke, Indiana. Please stand, John. His daughter is also here, Catherine Aid and Sprinkle from Delphi. First vice president of that first fair was J.A. Wagamuth, and representing his family here this evening is John Wagamuth. Should I say, John, you're a grandson, is that correct? Representing the family of S.E. Moulter, who was one of the first directors, is the son, Lloyd Moulter. Lloyd, please stand. We have two other special guests seated in that section this evening that I'd like to recognize at this time. Their names are listed on the program. They are directors emeritus. And although they were not directors of the first fair, were directors of the fair and its history, and the success and the longevity of the fair is due to their hard work. So at this time, I would ask Director Emeritus Harold Myers to please stand. And Steve McKinley. I know those two gentlemen certainly know the thrill of working at the Pumpkin Vine Fair in the 105-degree heat, so everyone appreciates your effort over the past years. So at this point, I'll turn the program back over to Maury, and we'll get on with the show. I think, are we ready for the 30s? Not quite. Okay. Are you going to tell a story? Is it true? True. Is there a Bible here?
I researched this, and they gave me a paper that, we think that sometimes we are invasive into the privacy of individuals nowadays with internet and all kind of X-ray devices and like, but that was nothing compared to what happened at the Newton County Fair starting in 1924, and I'm not sure how long it lasted. The Newton County Better Babies Contest. Did you ever hear about that? And it goes a great length. I'm not gonna. They had, of course, there was a lot of kids in those times, no television, and it says here, one of the biggest and most popular enterprises on the fairgrounds was the rest tent for tired mothers. I can understand that. Playground for the children and the Better Babies Contest. Right here. I won't read in there all of it, but they had the playground, and it was so popular. This lady, Mrs. Henry Weston, had to bring in her assistant women to help with it. In one section of the tent, a lady doctor, nurse, and assistant sent here by the State Health Department examined 51 children free of charge. Gave each parent a complete chart of the child. It was a splendid service of great value and sense. But the highlight of all this, and I suppose the thing made it the mothers drank their kid in there in the first place, was the Better Babies Contest, under the supervision of Miss Bernadetta Shue. Anybody here know her? A good name for a woman to start a Better Babies Contest, I'm sure. Did she ever marry? I doubt it. Of course, nowadays it don't make a hell of a lot of difference, I guess. The examinations were made by a whole corps of doctors that lives there. Service given free, and during the 3 days they examined 44 babies. There were 54 entries, but 8 failed in their appointment. I think they saw the trocar come out and they fled the tent, wouldn't you guess? Some here didn't run. This contest involves so much work, and Miss Shue called her assistants and named a bunch. The prize for the most perfect baby with a score of 99.8, aged 15 months, cuts out like a senior yearling calf, was Betty Louise Stoneball Mulder. Where is she? Stand up. There she is. Look at that. Turn around. Turn around. That's a 99.8 if I ever saw one, I'll tell you that. Now there's more to that story. No. Were you dressed, or were they just naked little kids going through there? No? Anyway, something struck another entrance, Francis, who was, let's see, I got to check here. He didn't score near as well, though. Age 23 months. Eugene Lloyd Mulder of Goodland. No, age 14 months. I made the wrong place. But you didn't win, did you? No. Yeah, you were the big winner. Yeah. And they somehow struck up a conversation. Can you imagine 14 months? What'd you say to her? Huh? Stand up. We want to see what'd you score? About 84? Yeah. It was on the curve, was it? You was on the bottom end of the curve, I'm sure, yeah. Can you imagine all kind of stuff here about, but I tell you, it worked. They got married. How many years after that did you get married? No, I went to Purdue. I can't subtract like that. A good long spell. 47. Successful. Look at how happy. Look at. I'll tell you how happy. Now they got all this genetic engineering now, and all this fatty gene splicing and all that kind of stuff that you see them doing down at Purdue. You didn't have to do that. Just have a Better Babies Contest. Those 2 fine people got married. Great genetics. 7 kids. 1 here, right? Hey, come up here. 15 grandkids. You have grandkids here? Yeah, there they are. Whole squad of them. 1 great grandkid. Here? Not here. And a few outlaws. 33 total. Now look at, turn around. Let's see. Pretty good. What did he score? About a 99 even. Mike Mulder. He's one of the results of that cohabitation a long, long time ago. Mike?
This was a big surprise to me, too, when they started going through this, and they said, did you know your mother? Did you know your father? And they got to put these scores together. Well, shoot, with scores like that, what else could come out but the perfect family, right? Yep. They started asking me how many of us was there. I had to make a list just to double check, okay? Now, Christmas, we still wear name tags.
We'll see how you look at the pair. 1930s. Kind of bleak times, and I remember in my county, I don't remember so much, but our county fair went broke. Closed. Oh, I think they had a 4-H fair in Kent someplace. I know they did because when I was coming into it. But the old county fair that looked a little like this, as I recall, went broke. So you survived those perilous times, and that you would expect Newtonians to do. Eggs in the 30s. 44 cents a dozen, but I don't believe they were 44 cents a dozen on the farm, about like a 10 cents as I remember. Milk was 14 cents a quart. Strained, that's strained. And round steak was 42 cents a pound. It wasn't a happy time. It was dry in Newton County. Life expectancy, guys, they're gaining on us. Men 58.1 years and women 61.6. Now, hey, is there anyone, I want to see everybody stand up, who has ever won a champion, a purple ribbon at the Newton County Fair? Stand up. Yeah. How about the Iroquois County Fair? Have you ever win? 1, 2, yeah, stand up there. Oh, awesome. While you're up, Babyface, a good song of the 30s, okay? See, I'm stalling because the John Deere, if you shut it off, he was mad, and now he can't get it started. I'm an international man.
Maureen, before we go any further, these people are giving me a really hard time. I'm the only one in this group from Sheldon, Illinois. They come from all over the county. It's not just from Sheldon, so. And I'm tired of getting told we're not just from Sheldon.
Some of them are country hicks and all kinds.
Really sort of backwards, I don't know.
How about Stocklin? That's my...
Oh, that's my grade school alma mater.
Good, I'll talk to you.
Good, all right. I tell you what, John, we need your assistance for this song. If you would come up here, please. No, you're not getting paid to do this. If you'll just take a seat right here. We didn't know anything about the Better Baby contest when we chose this song, but I guess we couldn't have chosen anything better than Babyface.
The cutest little baby face. There's not another one to take your place. Baby face, my poor heart is jumping. You should have started something, baby face. I'm up in heaven when I hear your fond embrace. I didn't need a shove, 'cause I just fell in love with your pretty baby face. Rosy cheeks and turned-up nose and curly hair. We're talking about a baby boy. Years ago you see his picture everywhere. You couldn't live without him. He played a nasty game. They wrote a song about him, and Johnny was his name. They called him Baby Face. Wow, 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 wow. You've got the cutest little baby face. Wow, 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 wow. There's not another one to take your place. Wow, wow, wow. Baby face. Wow, wow, wow. My poor heart is something you should have started something, baby face. Wow, 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 wow. I'm up in heaven and I'm in your heart and pray. I didn't need a show, 'cause I just fell in love with your pretty baby. Talk about